The KwaZulu-Natal government is hosting an Indaba on the south coast near Margate and the Ugu district. This is part of the province's Tourism MEC Siboniso Duma's first 100 days in office. Ahmed Kajee is in Durban. It doesn't look like shorts and shades kind of weather, but that should not stop revelers from visiting the province. This is what we're hearing from the relevant authorities, Ahmed.
Yes, very much so. That's the big message coming out from the MEC's office here for tourism and economic growth. I mean, he started off his address when we had spoken to him about half an hour ago, saying that rainfall normally is a message of prosperity, which is a sign of the December holiday season kicking off, showing that it will be one that is exceptionally exciting and one that will come with lots of blessings as well. So perhaps the overcast and rainy weather, which we have been welcomed with this morning in KwaZulu-Natal, is something that is welcomed by the provincial government as well. But just to take you through what exactly we have been seeing today, there was a tourism activation just taking place at the Margate airport. That's about 10 to 15 kilometers from where we are, just outside of Port Shepstone. A big part of what the major activations taking place today is the 100 days and beyond activation taking place from the MEC for Tourism's office. It is 100 days for him into his tenure, so they are just looking back at exactly what has taken place over the last 100 days and exactly what can be expected going forward. Coming through into the December period, the beaches will be reopened after those devastating floods which we had seen in April and May earlier this year. So that will be exceptionally welcoming for the residents of KwaZulu-Natal, the tourism sector of KwaZulu-Natal, and for the residents from outside of the province coming in as well. Over the last 2 years, unfortunately, KwaZulu-Natal was in essence closed during the December period due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So international visitors can come through to the province, as well as local South Africans can also make their ways to the province, whether they would like to be in the Drakensberg region in the mountains. They can do that. There is also wildlife in terms of nature reserves, and then the big exciting thing as well, the oceans being reopened as well after those floods which unfortunately damaged infrastructure and sewage entering into the ocean. According to government, they say that has also been reduced and the rehabilitation has taken place as well. But a big part of what we are also seeing within this particular campaign is the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone as well. Lots of projects have been coming out of that particular area in the northern parts of the province. And to bring into the conversation now as well, the CEO for the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone, Mr. Tabane Zulu. Thanks very much for your time, Mr. Zulu. I mean, a big thing that we have seen coming out of Richards Bay is various projects, including one from Eskom as well. Can you maybe just take us through the importance of that and those 3 big projects coming out?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and good morning to the viewers. Yes, indeed, as you will know, that special economic zones throughout the country are an integral part of economic growth, but most importantly are playing a very important strategic role to attract investments into various regions of our country. Richards Bay being part of the economic development and tourism under the leadership of our Minister, Ubaba Duma Mtombeni. We are very proud of the strides that we are making to try and continue to attract investments into our zone. Our pipeline is currently focusing on 3 projects in particular that we regard them as very catalytic projects for economic growth for the region, and also they form part of the KZN growth strategy that we have at our disposal. Those projects are mainly the Wilma project, which is an investment of 1.5 billion project, which is meant to actually produce various products that relate to sunflower oil and many other ingredients that are linked into that. That will contribute quite immensely in growing the economy of the region, in attracting more jobs to our people, but most importantly into shaping our growth strategy together with Nyanza Light Metals. The critical one, which is also in our pipeline for development and for delivery, is the Eskom project of 3,000 megawatts. You will recall that the NELSA process of receiving various inputs from different stakeholders has started. It's a 3,000 megawatt project. At a long-term strategy is to make sure that we also contribute meaningfully in making sure that energy efficiency and energy space is also well received in terms of its particular role it plays for investment attraction. There is no investment that happens in a space where energy is under challenge. And part of our responsibility as a special economic zone is to make sure that we work together with ESCOM. We make this particular project a reality. It's going to produce 3,000 megawatts. It's at a value of 72 billion at this stage, and that figure can also escalate. So those are some of the catalytic projects that we are dealing with within the zone and contributing to the economic growth of our country and the province.
How important then is the Richards Bay region for the GDP and for the economic growth of KwaZulu-Natal?
It's absolutely very critical. You will also understand that Richards Bay region, together with eThekwini and many other regions in our province, are contributing towards our GDP growth, being the second of the contributing factors. We would like to escalate that. We are working towards increasing investments at a very speedy level without compromising governance-related issues, but ensuring that our region becomes a very conducive area for economic development. Recently, we are very happy that our local airport, Richards Bay Airport, has since been reopened, which is going to make the flow of business people to come into our province very easy. And we are also working towards the city of Umhlatuze, our strategic partner, working with Transnet, a very important stakeholder to us, to make sure that we collaborate our strategies to make sure that we inject economic growth in the region and to the province and to the country as a large. And it's a very important assignment for us.
Finally, Mr. Zuma, can you just take us through the importance then of your representation at an event such as this one?
Well, our representation is quite huge here. We have our board that is here. We also have executives of our Richards Bay ITZ from different strategic areas of our work, business development being one of the key areas of our work. The development of our zone itself is all here, so everyone is here to make sure that we give a positive impact into the first 100 days of our MEC, but also to begin to understand his strategic direction and responsibility that is expecting all of us here to follow through. And us being here is also to make sure that leadership gives us guidance, gives us direction from a strategic point of view, and our responsibility to execute is not compromised at all times. That's why we're here. Thank you.
Mr. Thabani Zuma, thanks very much for your time. Indeed, that's Thabani Zuma taking us through about exactly what we have seen over here. Thabani Zulu, rather, just taking us through exactly what is going to be coming through from the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone, speaking specifically around that ESCOM project coming through, which will be very welcomed by South Africans, both in KwaZulu-Natal as well as the rest of the country, given the electricity challenges which we have faced in recent months. And then also just looking at the tourism which we have seen in the province and in the area. I'm sure the Richards Bay area in the north of KwaZulu-Natal and various other regions within that particular area will be very excited at what will be coming their way, coming through in the next 6 to 8 weeks or so as the December holiday period begins, as many people will make their way down to the south coast of KwaZulu-Natal to do.
Ahmed, Kajee, thank you very much for that report.